Kann weitergehen mit Let's Play Fake Grand Order. Ich bin es immer fix. Wir sind hier noch in dem Meihousou-Event und wollen hier immer noch herausfinden, wer hier der Giftanschläger auf Giftattentätanschlag Ausführer, oh, schlanges Wort, hier auf unsere Werte Gabriela, so, jetzt haben wir es. Ist ein bisschen schwer. Ja, liebe Leute, wir sind hier gerade dabei, dieses Verbrechen aufzudecken in dem Film, den wir hier mehr oder weniger aus dem Stegreif machen müssen. Und jetzt schauen wir mal, was unser gut aussieht dazu sagen. Max, you have a brilliant idea. Really? What is it? What if we made Salazar here and his Daiso person and one at the same? I guess Daiso's face was covered up, so maybe? Haha, fortunately we never saw Daiso's face during the prologue. We can make use of that here, there. Daiso was the assassin who worked for General Tan, right? He would never admit defeat no matter how much things turn against him. What would you do if you were him? Well, I don't think I'm exactly the sort of person who could cut down his foe so easily as breathing, but... Wrong! You're already Daiso. From now on you will think as he thinks, and speak as he speaks. Spoken like a true pharaoh. Well, I think I might try to kill as many enemies as possible, even if I knew it was ultimately pointless. But there's only so much any one person can do, so I probably suffered a grave injury. And though I managed to survive the attack, I ended up losing my memory. How does this sound? Very good. Your memories may be gone, but your body still remains its deadly fighting techniques. Thus Miguel kept you around to turn you into his personal bodyguard. So you used to be an assassin. Yes, I'm starting to believe it. That's right. I was the Kingdoms of Nada's greatest assassin. Of course I would try to assassinate anyone who even vaguely seems like an enemy of the royal family. So I poisoned the wine glass because... I guess I just wanted to kill someone? Are you an assassin? I'm not sure. I don't think I can use presence concealment. At any rate, as an assassin I'm sworn to serve the kingdom to my dying breath. But my efforts backfired, and I almost inadvertently killed my master. Perfect! I have a painful inert flashbacks of my failed assassination attempt. So I'm impulsive think about performing new assassination in order to escape the pain. Ha! Sounds like you're out of work. It feels like everything's starting to come together. Seems kind of contrary to me, but whatever. I can live with it at this point. Oh, but if we go this route, then you'll be playing a pretty bad guy. Are you okay with that? I think that even with my memory gone, the battle against the revolutionaries still rages on inside me. So now, whenever something happens to stir up my past impulse, I can't help but want to kill anyone I consider a threat to the kingdom. Oh, that way we can have Gabriela's poisoning be one of your attempts to kill someone. I see. Then as the last prince of Nada, I will take it up myself to put up my pure faithful retainer to rest. After a pulse-pounding fight scene, Vargas will defeat Salazar and praise him for his faithful service as passes away in his arms. Then after Gabriel wakes, Vargas will confine his true identity to the hair to sit back on a trip to help make his former nation a better place. It all makes sense. This will work out nicely. Then it would seem we finally have our outline of our plot. Very well, let us proceed with the story, unless there are any other cast members who wish to object. I think it sounds very good. Whatever, don't love it, but don't have anything better to offer. I guess that means our scene will be the last one then. I don't know if I like the idea of me and the Pharaoh ganging up on Salazar. Oh yes, a good point. Very well then, perhaps you could think of a way around it? What if Garcia stayed behind to protect Gabriela, while Vargas and Salazar go to these stores to get some medicine? And then he could have a painful assassin flashbacks that spurs him to attack Vargas while they're alone. I see. That could lead to a very natural to the climatic fight scene. In that case, we probably want something in the storehouse to trigger his memory to make it more convincing. Hardly agreed. It would only be confusing to the audience if he simply had a flashback out of nowhere. If he lost his memory from a wound in battle, perhaps something that symbolized war would suffice. And what about the sound of a cannon? I mean, at least I know Isa and I would instantly react to that. But why would there be a cannon in the stores? Why would they even hear a cannon going off? What's basically a big-ass medicine cabinet? Is this little Miss Chaldea then though around or something? I know she wouldn't think twice about firing a cannon in the stores. On second thought, never mind. Having her show up now would only make things even more confusing. Yeah, big sis can be a little reckless sometimes. That's putting it mildly. No, I definitely don't want to hear getting mixed up on the... Ich habe ehrlich gesagt keine Ahnung. Little Miss Chaldea denn da... Oh. Ich habe keine Ahnung. Redet sie jetzt von... Ich weiß echt nicht von... Redet sie jetzt von der normalen Genre? Ich dachte gerade an Drake. Ich habe keine Ahnung. I'm surprised she sees her rival as her older sister. Has she been brainwashed or something? Nee, redet sie jetzt schon von der normalen Genre. What about this? One of them could accidentally knock over a bottle while they're looking for the medicine. The bottle happens to contain some dangerous chemicals, so when it hits the ground it explodes. The explosion sounds just like a cannon shell, which triggers Salazar's flashbacks. I know it's kind of a stretch, but... Yeah, no way that's gonna... I think it's brilliant, my lady, with the beautiful bangs. It might be a stretch, but it's also innovative, and sure, to be clear to the audience. I would be glad to handle the bottle dropping as well. In fact, I wouldn't even mind being the bottle. Can somebody calm him down, please? Very well, then I will do my best. And strum. Phew, sorry about that. I'm calm now. He looks like he just came down from a mountain after reaching enlightenment. Very well then. We shall require the sound of a cannon blast. Find it. Will do. I sent the audio data from the library as soon as I track it down. Would you prefer an Orleans cannon sound effect or a North American cannon sound effect? Definitely not an Orleans cannon. That wouldn't do anything good for my mood. I can play the cannon sound effect once Salazar knocks the bottle over. Well, we need a sound effect for machine guns and missiles? No? Alright. Just thought I'd ask. Well, no time like the present. Let's film the scene as soon as everyone's ready. Okay, we can start the scene in Gary's room. What is this feeling? Does this mean I want to be the lead actor? I get that they want to do this so that everyone tries together, but Salazar and Isa are almost nothing alike. This isn't good. I need to be more proactive detective. Alle werden sich rausgedrängt. Ready and action! Sehr nett, alle wollen inzwischen mitspielen. Oh, I almost forgot. The doctor said I should get some medicine to give Gabriella. Would you mind showing me where the medicine is kept, Salazar? I would be happy to check the stores myself. No, we should go together just to be safe. No one should go anywhere alone. I see. Alright, if you insist. Don't misunderstand. This isn't because I suspect you. It's simply better for both of us to have a witness present. True. If we go together and anything happens to one of us, the other will come under suspicion. Besides, if Lady Gabriella's condition should worsen because of my medicine, my position here would become extremely precarious. I apologize for my rudeness. Alright, let's be on our way. Be careful out there, you two. There's no telling what you might run into. This place seems much bigger than it needs to be. That's partly because there's also an emergency shelter here. One never knows when one might need it. We're prepared for anything here. We have food and medicine alike and a simple supply. I see. So where's this medicine we need? I think it was on the shelves. Ups! Das waren definitiv die Sachen aus Amerika. My hat! Salazar, what's wrong? I just remembered. Wow, es wird wieder richtig spannend. Es ist so schlecht, dass es irgendwie wieder spannend wird. Okay. Aber noch schön im Anzug. Ach, darf man jetzt echt an Servant spielen? Ah, das ist ja lame. Das ist ja lame. Nein, eigentlich will ich nur einen von den Servants hier spielen. Aber okay, wir kämpfen jetzt gegen Salazar. Und da ich jetzt, und dass man jetzt auch wirklich Salazars Kit nicht so richtig kenne, ist das eigentlich ganz spannend. Ich hätte irgendwie gerade Bock auf Roma zu spielen, aber es lohnt sich irgendwie nicht. Warte mal, ich weiß, wen ich nehme, So. Machen wir kurz uns ein schönes Arztteam. Einfach so. Einfach weil ich es kann, liebe Leute. Einfach weil ich es kann. So, keine Ahnung, wer dann die Dame, der Dame oder der Herr sein wird, den wir dabei haben. Wahrscheinlich Ossi. Aber wieso 2? Keine Ahnung. Machen wir einfach so. Wollen wir sie überhaupt mitnehmen? Nehmen wir sie einfach gar nicht mit. So, und zack. Okay, wird schon schief gehen. Wenn nicht, in der Hinterhand tue ich mir jetzt echt auf blöd, tue ich mir jetzt einfach Jackie rein. Das wäre echt nett, wenn ich bei den Eventkämpfen hier sterben würde. Das wäre echt nice, Mann. Also komm, legen wir los. Schauen, was uns erwartet. Und dann machen wir einfach mal ein bisschen Easy-Action, Mann. Hin und wieder müssen wir auch mal Easy hier raushauen lassen. So, und wir befinden uns nun inzwischen in Kapitel Nummer 9 müsste es sein, oder? Ne, 8. At the End of Memory. This place seems much bigger than it needs to be. That's partly because there's also an emergency shelter here. One never knows when one might need it. We are prepared for anything here. We have food and medicine alike and simply supply. I see. So where's the medicine we need? I think it was on the shelf. Oops. There goes the bottle. Now. Ich glaube übrigens immer noch, es war Moriarty. Ich bin mir echt sicher, dass es Moriarty war. Perfect timing. My head. Salazar, what's wrong? I just remembered. That's it, Salazar. Now you'll go into assassin mode. Wait, something's not right. Are you right, Salazar? That is not my name. Ozzy! How dare you! A truly riveting performance, but I do think he's taking it a bit too far. It's a story he truly has lost his mind. Method actor? Forget his mind, he lost his freaking humanity, can't you tell? His soul spiritual is falling apart like a house of cards. He's practically a goddamn vengeance spirit now. Oh my, that won't do it at all. Then it is time this great detective brought the case to a close. No, this is still my scene. Leave them to me. All you need to concern yourself with is capturing my glorious combat prowess on film. But this great detective needs to... Sorry, Brain. Oh, snooze, you lose. I'm gonna see how this goes like a punch on the face of getting Russell alive. Dead, whatever. Oh, how very sad. Okay, Salazar wacht und scheinbar hat dieses Kanonengeräusch ihn deutlich mehr weckt. Ja, ich habe es seine wahre Identität schon mal gesagt. Ich dachte gar nicht, dass die aufgeklärt wird. Tut mir leid, liebe Leute, voll gespoilert, aber okay. Nichtsdestotrotz, schauen wir mal. Ich weiß jetzt echt nicht, wen ich dabei habe. Oh, Schalter. Oh. Das ist kacke. Ich hätte jetzt mich so gefreut, wenn ich jetzt echt hier gegen, eine wirkliche Form von, also wegen dem wirklichen Salazar kämpfen muss. Schade. Okay, ist nur Geist. Dann ist er übrigens nicht humanoid, da macht mein ISO natürlich saumäßig wenig Schaden, aber egal. Also das hätte man ruhig solomäßig schaffen können. Oh, Schalter ist eine Level 50. Na, okay. Sollte trotzdem ganz knapp schaffbar sein. Wieso ziehe ich eigentlich nur Schalterkarten? Macht keinen Sinn. Keine Ahnung, ob du Mensch bist oder nicht, aber jetzt bist niederknüppelt. Du bist Humanoid, ich sehe es dir eindeutig an. So, das ist die Rache dafür, dass Iso vorhin nicht mitspielen konnte. Das ist die Rache, liebe Leute. Ich glaube, die ersten 2 Crits lang, oder? Okay, liebe Leute. Salazar rastet aus, Mann. Schalter hat ihn beruhigt. Schade, nicht Ossi. Und eine Lampe gibt es ja noch. Ach, ist die Welt nicht schön. So, und dann würde ich mal sagen, wollen wir mal aushorchen, was hier in ihm überwacht ist. Oder ob er jetzt verschwindet? Keine Ahnung. Vielleicht war es doch nur eine Performance. Salazar, snap out of it already. Du hast echt Ossi angegriffen. Jetzt hatte ich mit der Pyramide abgeschmissen. My apologies. I don't know what came over me. Oh, what the hell, Salazar? You turned into a goddamn monster. What gives? Exit yonder answered me. So you have finally settled down, good. I'm surprised that cannon sound affected you so dramatically. You must have been through something especially traumatic. You could say that. It was a cannon blast that killed me. At least now I can finally introduce myself properly. My name is Bartholomew. Bartholomew Roberts. Oh, the famous pirate! I never would have guessed it, since you are so different from the other pirates we knew. I am delighted to hear a lady with such beautiful hidden eyes say so. Naja, alle sind Lüstlinge. Well, Dread, we could have figured this out much sooner if we'd had Blackbeard take a look. How well. I recall Sir Blackbeard saying that he doesn't look at other guys' faces close enough to tell him apart. Außer es ist das Teufel. Ah, so the old bastard's there too, huh? I know, even as I say, it's how unlikely it is, but I hope he hasn't been causing too much trouble. On behalf of pirate and dashing men everywhere, I apologize for his entire existence. Gut zusammengefasst. It would be one thing if times were peaceful, but under the current circumstances at any rate, there's nothing we can do about it now. Was? Bartholomew, it looks like you're... Please don't worry your beautiful head about me, my lady. This dashing man was fated to disappear along with the singularity anyway. Even though he's trying to sell us on how dashing he is, maybe that sort of bluster is what I've been lacking. My spirit origin has always been like an ember on the verge of flickering out. I just happen to exhaust what little I have left in the battle. There's no need for you to concern yourself, Master. So this is where we part ways. It was enjoyable while it lasted, Bartholomew. Master, I can't tell you how grateful I am to you for giving me a new role to play when I had nothing to look forward but to disappearing. But I'm so sorry my leaving you like this will only make things harder for you. Forgive me for leaving in the middle of all of this. Bartholomew. By the way, about the lovely lady with the beautiful bangs? You realize there's more to Mesh than her bangs, right? I'm sorry for being so crude. I wish I could stick around to see this film complete. So if anything, I really regret not being able to do so. If I ever see you again, I hope you'll show it to me. Well, farewell everyone. Farewell, beautiful lady with the hidden eyes. Oh Leute, Mann, das tut mir irgendwie richtig leid, Mann. Aber in 2-3 Monaten. Amen. Salazar, Bartholomew. What is your obsession with my eyes being hidden anyway? That's your first question? Don't worry about it, Mesh. You're better off not knowing. Now that you have formed a connection with him, he's bound to come back sooner or later. Das freut mich. Anyway, now what do we do? Good question. I'm not sure there's anything we can do now that he has disappeared. This is indeed quite a pickle. I'm sure we managed to record Salazar's losing his mind on attacking Vargas. If we edited it well enough. Unfortunately, I'm not sure that was sufficient. There's no way to film the story we originally envisioned without a scene where Salazar reveals his true identity and motive. At best it would just be a muddled mess for our audience. What should we do about the last half of the scene, where he turns into a venturous wizard? Something symbolism, I guess. About Neon Genesis Evangelion, oder? Very well then, we shall just have to come up with a different climax. If only it were that easy. We already filmed the scene with Salazar and Vargas going to look for medicine in the storehouse. With 2 people going in and only 1 coming out, it would only stand to reason that Vargas killed Salazar. What was that? Well, technically, I suppose Vargas did kill him. We could always just leave that scene out, of course, but that presents us with other problems. Right, it would be very strange for Salazar to suddenly turn up dead and just disappear from the film. However, we do have a scene where Salazar and Vargas hit each other at the same time. If we made it so that Salazar inflict a fatal blow on Vargas and Vargas summoned up the last of his strength to take Salazar down with him, resulting in both of their deaths. I think that may give us the most option for continuing the story naturally. How does it sound? Interesting. So my choice will become the villain or to exit the movie for good. This is a pickle. Well, logically both Vargas and Salazar would have to die here. Unfortunately, there's no time for any reshots. We simply have to use the footage we already have.
Right, Masaki doesn't seem to likely to wake up anytime soon, and our top priority is to finish the movie, so...
I never even considered that my role might end like this. But very well. As Mesh said, finishing the movie comes first, so we'll accept Vargas' death.
Oh, aber nur so Herzen wirst du immer weiterleben.
Besides, Isidoro and Adriana haven't been getting enough screen time anyway. Examining the crime scene should be a perfect opportunity for them. We should be able to fix Salazar's corpse with a mannequin and leftover outfit from the dressing room. Oh, as for Vargas, you can simply lay on the floor and pretend to be dead for her. To think my final scene would involve me playing that dead body. Amusing. Das ist was. Wisst ihr, was ich da nicht so cool finde? Das ist einfach so Sachen, wo man denkt immer so, der Pharao, der Gottkönig, was auch immer. Und dann tut man ihm immer irgendwie sowas sagen, irgend sowas, was eigentlich gar nicht, wo du nicht mal denkst, er denkt überhaupt daran, sowas zu machen. Und dann macht das immer natürlich so lustig, Mann. It seems nothing ever quite goes as planned in the making of a movie.
What should they say when they're examining the bodies? I'm not coming up with anything.
You and Tristan there should figure something out while we get ready to shot. We can save the reason that Salazar turned on Vargas for the conclusion. At worst, we can always chalk it up somehow being the true culprit's doing. Easy for you to say. Your character's dead. Haha. As long as it doesn't turn out Miguel was actually alive the whole time, I can get away with saying whatever I want. You probably should have kept your mouth shut on that one. You just shot yourself in the foot. Now, things could work out so that you end up getting blamed for other crimes. At any rate, we need to get back for filming. Come now, everyone, let's do all our best to finish strong.
Ob das so leicht wird?
What was that? Whatever it was, it really was loud.
Thank goodness you're alright, Elise.
Everyone, come quick. We found Vargas and Salazar in the stars. Dead. Vargas is dead? No way. We should go see for ourselves. You can grieve for your friend afterward.
Das ist ein cooles Bild.
Oh, see! Vargas! This can't be happening! They're both dead. It looks like they killed each other. Which one of them attacked first? Vargas would never ambush anyone. You look like you're right. Vargas split up from the wound on his back. Salazar must have attacked him from behind.
He probably meant to kill Vargas with one strike and hide the body somewhere. But he obviously failed, leaving Vargas with just enough strength to strike back.
Nobody could have taken Vargas down in a fair fight, not even if it was 3 against 1. He must have known he wasn't going to make it, so he made sure to take Salazar down with him.
It looked like he knocked over a bottle of violet chemicals during the fight. That was almost certainly the cause of the explosion we had.
Salazar must have already known he couldn't talk his way out of it. We could have interrogated them and gotten to the bottom of this lot faster if just one of them had survived. What's wrong, Detective? You haven't said a word. Ihm fällt nichts ein.
Mr. Pujolo is also known as Isidoro the Sleeper, because he always gets very quiet whenever he's considering evidence.
It's true. Even as we speak, my mind is evaluating all the possibilities at a distinct pace. Ich dachte, es ist so wie Detektiv Conan, dass er so wie Kogurose ist, dass er immer schläft, während er seine Aufklärung macht. Didn't you say you were known as Isidoro the Reaper before? Hypnos and Thanatos are said to be brothers. Thus my Sleeper and the Reaper personas are two sides from this coin. However, just stop bragging and tell us what you figured out already. I can't. Not when the culprit is listening. Oh, then you're saying one of us is the culprit. I will leave that to your imagination. For now, all I can say is this. There's no case so undestructible that I, Isidoro Pujolo, cannot solve it. You may sit back and rest assured that I have matters well in hand. Das war gerade keine so gute Szene, muss ich leider sagen.
They do say every good story needs surprises, but usually a story is more just a series of plot twists and shocks. If only Sir Bartholomew hadn't disappeared.
Good grief, it looks like we might just have to come up with an ending for the story after all.
Then we'd better stock up on pens and paper while we still have the chance. Quite honestly, I much prefer that the cast arrives at a natural conclusion themselves.
Hey Holmes, there's something that's been nagging at me for a while.
And what might that be?
Instead of going to Okusa about the painting, wouldn't it have been better to start by asking Moriarty?
I beg your pardon?
Like you said yourself, Murasaki's condition was an unfortunate accident. So since Moriarty didn't do anything wrong this time, you could just as easily have asked him, since he had to have been there too. I know you two are the mortal enemies and everything, but in this specific instance, I don't think he has anything to hide.
Were that the case, he should have brought up the portrait before we thought to investigate it.
True, if he wanted filming to get smoothly, he should have mentioned the portrait being redone the first chance he got.
I don't care for the way he holds onto information while snidely waiting to see what the rest of us do without it. Even if called him out on it, he'd just claim it slipped his mind, and that would be that.
I get how you feel, Holmes, but that still doesn't explain why you didn't ask him.
Fair enough, I don't know if this will convince you, but there it is. I'm still a detective, so I believe I have an obligation to solve any mystery I came across.
Don't know where that came from, but okay. I doubt there's any mystery you couldn't solve, but never mind that.
However, these are phase to take place while learning about the mysteries I'm about to solve. A phase where I examine all facts closely, free of preconception, and try to notice anything that seems out of place. And meticulously questioning everything, the relevant facts came to light, and the mysteries reveals itself.
So you're saying your approach revolves around careful examination and questioning what you observe?
Right, but on the flip side, it also means that one cannot engage with a case without such examination and attendant suspicion. And when it comes to preventing a detective from seeing matter clearly, and therefore suspecting them, there's no criminal more devious than James Moriarty.
Wait, really? How does that work when he just being around makes anyone naturally suspicious?
There's such a thing as being too suspicious, you see. It makes it too difficult to determine how much one should suspect other things.
Liebe Leute, schaut euch den Hinako an. Dort sind wir auch der Spinne ins Netz gegangen. Obwohl er sehr verdächtig war.
Ultimately make it impossible to focus on a proper issue on the case. I'm certain the whole reason he was able to rule the underworld for long is because he made sure to never be anywhere that would arouse suspicion. In 19th century London, he would dispense his criminal schemes to others while erasing all traces of his presence from the surrounding. He ruled his network like a spider waiting in the middle of its web, all while remaining completely out of sight. If nothing else, it was an impressive feat. It even took me some time to be certain and my suspicions were correct. Not to mention a painful sacrifice.
His presence was really that invincible, huh?
It would be easy to interrogate him now, but in doing so it would also be showing my hand as to my own method to thinking and questioning. Given that there's no telling when he and I might be on opposing sides again, I prefer to give him as few opportunities as possible to learn how I think. So if I'm going to investigate a case he's involved in, my only choice is to discover the core mystery while remaining as hands-off as I can.
So he doesn't want Moriarty to learn how he thinks, huh? Or maybe not just Moriarty. Oh, never mind. Basically, you're saying it is your examination and suspicion that lets you see a mystery before you. And if you have neither, there's no mystery here. So, we have arguably the world's greatest detective and Napoleon of crime. Talk about a complicated relationship.
Oy, Chaldea's so staubig. Oh, if it isn't Mr. Tristan, how can we help? I was hoping I could tell me something, Mr. Holmes. How exactly does a detective, detect?
Ja, man hat schon in der Szene gesehen, dass er keine Ahnung mehr hat. Da musste Mesh eine schlechte Lüge für ihn ausdenken.
I'm afraid I have arrived at the realization that I have no idea how to be a great detective only after I went and declared that my character was one. Now I don't know what to do. I see. Well, you've asked a very fundamental question. I only accept this role because I thought following Murasaki Shikibu's script would make me look good. But now I'm completely lost for words. All I can do is stand around like a scarecrow. No, it's even worse than that. At least scarecrows have some use, even if it's only keeping crows at bay. Oh, I'm so sad right now.
Du bist immer traurig. A scarecrow, huh? I have to remember that one.
This is hardly funny. The way this filming is going, my scarecrow impersonation may well be preserved for posterity forever. I don't even want to think about how Sir Bedivere would pity me if he saw me like that. I see. Very well, Mr. Tristan, I understand your concerns. But to be quite honest, my particular brand of deduction is rather beyond your abilities. That's not just honest, it's brutal. No, don't misunderstand. I'm still prepared to give you advice. All I mean is that my deductions are ill-suited to puzzles whose solutions are known. I'm not so keen at filling in bits in the middle. It's a matter of aptitude. I see.
Never mind him. That's just his pure attempt at humor.
I assure you, I'm quite serious. Now then, Mr. Tristan, what sort of deduction would you like to make? I'd like them to make everyone go, "Oh, of course, now it all makes sense," in admiration. And have them cement me as Sir Tristan, the smartest and most handsome knights of the Round Table. Nothing too spectacular.
That sounds like quite a tall order. For one thing, the Round Table is home to a great many handsome knights.
We knights always try to be best in everything we do. Having minds as sharp as the teeth of Kadoc is but one of many examples. But unfortunately, as said, I don't know the first thing about playing a detective, so I'm at a loss. Try turning your assumption on their ear, Mr. Tristan. Decide what you goal at first, then find a path towards it. What do you mean by that?
He means a plot with a foregone conclusion. Once you know how it ends, all you have to do is come up with a story that fits it.
Precisely. First decide on truth you would like to see. The more interesting the better, in this case. Next find all the clues that support that truth, and then simply set aside any that do that. This should lead you to a truth sufficiently compelling for your audience to ignore any lost threats you may have. Of course, it would be a severe problem if the police or district attorney handled the investigation this way, but since this is for a movie where there's nothing but entertainment at stake, it should be fine. I see. Thank you, Holmes. This has been a revelation. I know exactly what I have to do. Come up with a shocking and compelling truth. The explanation will simply follow that.
I'm not convinced. I get the feeling he could still inventively turn this thriller into a comedy. Well, if you don't mind me just rattling things off to the top of my head, I could share some ideas with you.
I appreciate the offer, but as a matter of fact, I just came with a brilliant idea myself.
Is that so? I have my doubts, but alright. It's a dick move to give constructive criticism of someone's story. I look forward to seeing what you've come up with.
Not to worry. I promise I will live up to, nay, exceed your expectations. Now then, if you excuse me. However, this turns out there's only so much we can do until Miss Murasaki wakes up. From here on, we may as well just sit back and enjoy the show.
You're not wrong, but that's a hell of a way to put it.
Well, it turns out it should be entertaining at the very least.
It's a dick move of goods. Okay, das hat man schon, bla bla bla, das hat man gerade.
Not to worry, I promise I will.
Okay, das hat mir doch alles gerade schon.
Haben Sie einen mitgehört, oder?
You guys all hear that?
I'm not usually in the habit of eavesdropping, but I simply couldn't help but to overhear it in this case.
It's not your fault he didn't even notice we were here.
Anyway, this explains why he'd been so quiet during the film so far. I guess in one sense he was feeling more pressure than any of us.
Anyway, I guess we can just wait for Tristan to present his idea for the conclusion to Master.
Oh, in that case, maybe I'll have a little fun myself. I'm glad I happened to overhear that I might just be able to tie everything together after all. I still need to live up to Queen Mary's expectation, so what would Antonio do?
Maybe, just maybe.
Master, I need to talk to you.
What's up?
I believe I have found a way to bring this movie to a satisfying conclusion. Just to give me, let's say, 30 minutes to collect my thoughts. On second thought, make that an hour, just to be safe. Is that true? You've been stealing my thunder thus far, so I plan to make sure I at least go with a bang. That sounds great. I can't wait to see it. Okay, I'll go let everyone else know. Alright, time to come up with something that will blow everyone away. Haha, remember this day, my fellow knights of the Round Table. Today is the day, said Tristan, knightly detective, burst onto the scene. All I have to do now is decide on the culprit before the hour is up. I'm counting on you, future me. Er weiß es doch gar nicht. Haven't seen Tristan that excited in a while. I guess it's mean we'll be done filming soon. Also ist immer noch sad, oder? Ist immer sad. Look, Steffi, after editing the footage we've got so far, I'd say we've got an hour worth of movie in the can. So we need to find a way to end the story in about 30 minutes, no matter how many possibilities we leave on the cutting room floor. At least that Tristan looks like he has a good idea up his sleeve. He's a poet at heart, right? So I think he'll come up with something that appeals to a wide audience. You're really enjoying this, aren't you, Doctor? Well, of course, I've been monitoring the whole thing on my end too. I don't think I'm enjoying it quite as much as you, since you're the only actual filming everything. But I still seem having a blast watching the whole production from the start to finish. It's a shame that I haven't been able to see you in action, since all the footage is from your perspective. But I figure Mesh can fill me in one side of things once you all get back. Still, the way things are going now, it might not all be smooth sailing. What do you mean? Do you think the characters are still in danger? Only if Sir Tristan's idea turns out to be something violent, and I have a different concern. I suspect the rest of the cast might be thinking along the same lines as him. From everything I've seen so far, they've all gotten really into their roles. So it's only natural that they all want their character to be the star of the show and come up on top. I expect that's true for you, Mesh. Am I wrong? Are you secretly hoping that Maxi gets to enjoy the spotlight too? Well, yes, I would like to record Senpai's valiant figure on film for prosperity. Right, so the real work is resolving the singularity is just beginning. Maxi, I'm guessing it won't be long now before you have each actor speaking up with their own idea about how the film should end. I'm sure they'll be all interesting in some way. Jean might have tried bullying you into going with her ending. But no matter how good they are, we can't use all of them. A movie can only have one ending after all. So as the master, you're one who's going to have to choose. There's no right or wrong answer for this movie, and I'm sure each actor's idea for the ending will have some core to it. So I'd like to think about what sort of movie you want to film before you make a decision. What will be the answer to the singularity? I think satisfying the late director's spirit will also help us to get a better reward. Okay. Heißt es, wir dürfen jetzt eine der Routen wählen, oder? Na, noch nicht. Okay, our Script Pitch. Ja, dann hören wir uns, würde ich mal sagen, die netten Scripts an. Davor machen wir einen kleinen Cut und beim nächsten Mal geht es dann weiter hier mit unserem schönen Anzug hier. Bis dahin, haut rein, auf Wiedersehen, ciao.